Let's cut the bullshit. We've got straight up marketing advice. You should use it.
Just drop the jargon.
Adam and Simon's Bullshit Busters.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Adam and Simon Bullshit Busters. I'm Simon Batchelor,
I'm Adam Bastock.
and this week we are going to be talking about the question why you should get rid of your contact form. So we're going to be talking about the reasons why you need to be getting rid of your contact form, and then we're going to be talking about what you should be using instead. So this might come as a bit of a shock to some people, Adam. So do you want to start off by telling us what's wrong with the humble contact form?
Yeah, so I think the main summary of it is that because it is so easy there is such a low barrier to entry of someone to contact you, it means that anyone can contact you, and you don't really want anyone to contact you. You want your potential customers to be able to contact you. And I think, speaking from purely an SEO perspective and from kind of having that contact form on my website, I used to get probably 2 or 3 emails a day that were from link builders or from kind of spammy bots that were just going through and filling it out and sending me emails asking if I wanted to buy their services. Very rarely, I can't remember if anyone actually, like a potential customer, ever emailed me on that email address. So I think the main reason we're saying get rid of it is because it is just wasting your time and producing a lot of noise, and it will be generating a lot of leads for you that basically aren't leads at all. They're not qualified, they're not high quality, they are just noise in the background of your kind of email system.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I mean, I think what we're saying here is if your contact form is just name, email, and inquiry, then essentially you are just going to get hit time and time again by bots, by spam, by all sorts of stuff. Also, if your web form is that low kind of quality or complexity, chances are, especially if you're using something like WordPress, then it could actually be quite a big security vulnerability as well, because those forms allow all sorts of hackers to get in as well. So in essence, I think what you're saying is absolutely bang on. I mean, our contact form that we have on our site, it used to get huge amounts of just general spam. So one of the things we started to do was to pre-qualify the people who could fill in the form. So one of the ways you can do that is you can just add a couple of extra questions to your contact form. So rather than just saying name, email, inquiry, we now say name, email, company, website, what would you like to talk about? And then there's like a drop down, and on the drop down you've got options for like SEO, PPC, websites. If you click websites, it then says, great, what's the budget for the project? And we then have some different options which clearly show where our budget options fit. And you have to select one of those to be able to submit the form. So the idea here is that we don't just get someone who wants a 50 quid website filling in the form and then registering as a website lead. People really do have to think about the budget they've got and realise that we don't work for less than the budget ranges on that form. So we're essentially pre-qualifying people by simply adding in a couple of simple questions. And we found that is really, really good. I will say, though, that if you do the drop down and select SEO, we do still get people who are SEO link builders and stuff filling it in. So it's not perfect, but at least we know that if someone's selected SEO, it's probably nonsense, because 9 times out of 10, the people who fill that in are just fishing for work that is just completely pointless. I guess it's the same you could look at as like you get the pizza delivery flyers through your door. Even if you stick a notice above your letterbox saying no junk mail, they're still going to put it through. If someone's bothered to walk down the steps to get to your door or walk up the steps, they're not going to just turn around and not put it through the door. They're just going to stuff it through the door. So people will always be flyering you. I guess that's the digital equivalent of being flyered.
I think that's definitely it. And I think it is that idea of if someone can't be bothered to answer those couple of questions to kind of get your attention, then they're probably not going to be a decent person to work with anyway.
Yeah.
And certainly I've used on my site, I swapped it out for Calendly, where you book a slot, it's a time that's convenient in my calendar. They can see the entire calendar for the next couple of months and find a slot that's suitable for them. And then before we join the call, they will have a form sent to them with asking more questions automatically. That's like a week or two beforehand with a short video. And then after that, you can then, we get on the call. And at that point, it just means that by the time we've got to that phone call or video call, I know about their business and I know their problems, and I can start talking to them. And we've already skipped out the first 30 minutes of conversation. We can just go straight in with like, right, okay, I see from your website that you've got these issues. Where do you want to go from here? And it just means that I don't get the, hello, we're looking to buy some SEO, do you offer this service?
Mm.
And then I have to go back and start answering all those questions. And I've not seen any kind of, what's the word,
Drop
kind
off.
of downfall. Drop off, that's the word. I was going to say downfall's quite severe, but there's no, there's the people who want to talk to me will still book in a call and eventually find
Yeah.
me. So I think it's about being not brave, but just taking that leap of like, well, actually look at your inquiry forms that are coming in. How many of them are converting?
Well, I think also, I mean, when we switched to using a phone answering service rather than answering the phone, our business coach got us to work out how much time we spent answering the phone. And then we added that up and worked out how many hours in the week we were spending answering the phone and what the cost to the business was to do that. And quite simply, it was cheaper to pay someone else to answer the phones than it is for us to answer the phone. So we don't need to do that now. And we've given the people who answer the phone a Calendly link. And so if you call up and say, hey, can I speak to Simon? They go, yeah, sure. His next available call is so-and-so. Can I book you in for that? Yeah. Now, if someone is leading a disorganised enough life that they can't tell where they're going to be next Wednesday at 1 p.m, then they're not ready to be a client because they're just a chaos engine. And you don't need people who live their lives like that in your business. So one client who is a whirlwind of disaster is going to just mow through your business and calling you at 2 a.m. and maybe not 2 a.m, but you know what I mean? Like people calling you at 7 p.m. and expecting you to pick up, and people sending you an email saying, oh, I'm launching a new product tomorrow. Is there any chance we can do some ads? Stuff like this, going like, oh, I see tomorrow's Black Friday. Is there any chance we could do some promotion for that? Clients like this are the kind of people who don't know what they're doing in a week's time, so can't commit to booking a call. They're not planning anything. They've got no long-term goals. Life just happens as it passes them by. And I'll be frank, your life is too short to be dealing with those kind of clients. I assure you that there are better clients out there. So things like Calendly. There's also Acuity is actually really good as well. So Acuity is owned by Squarespace. So if you've already got a Squarespace website, it's an easy add-on. It's a no-brainer. It's very cheap to add it on. You can buy it separately. There's a couple of other ones out there. If you run like a hairdresser's or a sort of very commonly purchased appointment slot business, there are several specific suppliers that also do the rest of the management, and you probably already know about it. But I think a lot of service businesses don't know that actually you could just get rid of your contact form and just put a Calendly form on. And it does this, and it's just going to streamline and qualify your leads.
I think there's definitely a market for that with estate agents because we've been trying a few places recently, and it's constantly the back and forth of like, oh, can you do this slot? No, okay, can you do this slot? And it's like, if you just sent me a Calendly link or something like that with all the available slots, I'll book myself in to view the property. But I think that's.
I must say, when I was looking, I found that one agent had it, and they got, I'd say, probably 80% of my viewings.
Yeah.
Just because I could say, the lady just sent me the link and just said, well, here's the suit. Like, the sooner you book it, the more likely you are to get it. It was her hint, but like, here's all the available slots for viewing on these properties, and it's a no-brainer. But then again, I guess it depends on how you value your time. So if you are currently answering the phone in your business, you already don't value your time, in my mind, because you're already just letting anybody interrupt your day, which is insanity in my mind. But the contact form is the opening to that. So if you open your email in the morning and you've got 15 emails to plough through just from your contact form, and they're from people who are like, oh, I'd like some help with this and this and this, but I've only got 80 quid. It's like, well, you have to reply to that person, and that takes some time. And actually, your time is worth more than that. So why not put one question in the way of those people to say, we work with customers from this budget up. If you'd like to know more, then fill in the form. Even that could work. I mean, having said about putting these questions in and Squarespace, I will then say that actually Squarespace doesn't allow you to put in questions into forms. So you only get name, email, and distraction as the options. You know what I mean? So it's not great. So that's where something like Calendly or Acuity, which does allow you to ask 5 questions, I think, on Calendly. Yeah. So that's definitely another option.
I think it just comes down to for me at least, it's come down to like respect to a certain extent, and the clients who are willing to book in respect that time slot far more than someone who sees the calendar and then contacts asking if I've got anything sooner. That's an immediate red flag to me that, you know, they're not willing to kind of wait and play that game a little bit. So I think it does come down to, it really helps identify and flesh out those people that aren't necessarily right for you. And those questions, I think there's several different ways we can kind of, there's different barriers or filters or whatever you want to do to put in place. I think that doesn't really matter whether it's as you say, like a project-based form that's just a kind of more complex form that then filters people down, whether it's a calendar booking system, or whether it's something like a report card-based lead generation system, or
I think whatever you use,
the method doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. The format of it doesn't matter. And also the other thing you might want to consider if you're here saying, no, I love my contact form, is why don't you just pay someone else to respond to all of the clients who are a waste of time? You know, that could be an option, is that actually you forward all of the contact form responses to a VA, and that VA then sends you the ones that are actually fit your criteria, and they just send a thanks but no thanks to everybody else. It's probably cheaper than you spending your time doing it. So I guess really the sort of summary is you've got to take another look at your time and what it's costing you. But if you're finding your contact form is getting you lots of spam, then why not consider switching out to something a bit more automated, where you're pre-qualifying the leads and you're getting those customers to book a slot with you, or to commit in some way to telling you more about why they want to work with you, which could be budget, it could be specifying which specific problems or issues they've got, and you know, then telling you a bit more about the problem before that, which gives you the time to do the research as well.
Precisely.
You know? So there's lots of different options there.
Yeah, agreed. I think it is just about the technical side of it is varied and opportunistic. It's just about valuing your time and cutting out that, building a process to protect your time. Excellent.
Exactly that. So let's see how you're going to go ahead with this to build that process to protect your time, as Adam says. Let us know in the comments if you love your contact form and you massively disagree with what we just said, or whether this has changed everything for you and you're thinking, hang on a minute, I need to get rid of my contact form. Whatever it is, we hope you've inspired you to take another look at it and see whether there's a more effective way of pre-qualifying your clients whilst also letting them get in touch with you. So thank you very much for listening and watching. If you're on Spotify or iTunes, why not give us a quick follow? That would be really handy. You'll get notified when the next episode comes out. And as always, if you're on YouTube, then drop us a quick subscribe down below. That again really helps us out and helps more people discover us. If you know anybody who'd like to be a guest on the podcast, then do give us a shout. You can find us at adamandsimon.com, and you can connect with us on LinkedIn to send over your recommendations or questions. So thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Just drop the job.
Adam and Simon's bullshit, but